More than a few of you guys have messaged me asking what's it like to work at the old Rich Rules UTV shop. And today, I'm going to show you guys kind of what it's like. So it's after hours now. I'm staying here kind of late because I had a lot of stuff going on throughout the week and kind of want to get caught up. But I've got one of my customers who's brought me several machines all the way from Illinois. I'm up here in Michigan, Bay City to be specific. And he was cool enough to say, hey, if you want to film some stuff on my machine, show the world what you're doing, go right ahead. So that's what I'm going to do today. So we'll take a look at this unit. We'll talk about some of the stuff that it's getting, and we'll do some work on it. I don't know how far we're going to go on it tonight. We'll cover some high-level stuff on it, do some work, get it back together, and kind of tell you why we're doing stuff. Let's take a look. So this is a 2021 X3 XRC RR. I didn't check exactly how many miles were on this thing, but this thing was brought in for some clutch issues, some suspension upgrades, and just some general maintenance. So we do all that here. No big deal. And I've already kind of started working on the clutch setup on this. So we'll head over to the workbench and I'll show you guys kind of what went on. So the big issue with this was there was a real jerky engagement when you'd go to give it some gas and take off. So we pulled the belt off of it, took a look at it, and you could see right in this area a lot of evidence of not goodness. So this was slipped pretty good at some point. You'll have that. So some guys might say, hey, just throw a belt on it. No big deal. Well, if you look at this thing, it's got these 33-inch tires on it. Customer crawls with it. Does a lot of, pretty hard riding with it. So right thing to do in a situation like this, get it set up with a proper clutch kit. So we went with KWI's AO weight kit and their DR3 Helix. So I already put the Helix in the secondary. And for the primary, I've been waiting on some parts for it. So I took it apart to change the spring and the weights. And when I took it apart, found that the primary bearing had started to come apart. You should see both sides are symmetrical, or they should be. This is the one that came out of it. Missing some components on this side. And these washers that ride on each side of the bearing. That one pretty bad. So here's a new one. Looks way better. 2 new washers. We'll put that together. Already have the new weights and spring in the movable. That's all good to go. So we're gonna put the one washer on like this. Not that bearing. That bearing. That washer. We'll one hand that, no big deal. Boom. And we got a primary that's ready to be put on. So we'll get this over to the machine, get that torqued up, and we'll be ready to move on to the next part of this deal. Tried using my microphone for you guys for better audio quality so you could hear me as I was talking about what's going on there. Turns out I just didn't record any of the audio. So I'll try voiceover on that. If it turned out great, which I hope it did, awesome. If not, real sorry. So we got the primary torque down to 90 foot-pounds, and we're just gonna put it in gear. Have the clutch engage a couple times, recheck the primary torque, and then everything's good back here. We'll put it back together. I'll take it out for a little drive and bring it back in here, center it up on the lift it up, and start taking the front end apart. These tires are pretty big. You can tell. I mean, taking off and high. It really loads her down. So, a tire like this, you're gonna want a frequent low. Shift smooth. Buttery. grab our torque wrench and clutch holder again. Perfect. Now put the cover back on, take her out for a little drive, set her up on the lift. All right, let's go for a little cruise in this unit. Just a little one. Yeah, we also work on boats here. Mostly inboard stuff, pretty much all inboard stuff. Some car stuff, mostly race car stuff, but some car stuff. Pretty selective with the car stuff. That stuff has a tendency to turn into a big project. So give me a shout if you need any work done. rrutv.shop.com, you know the deal. I really have a great time doing this, to be honest. It's super fun. And I get to meet a lot of cool people too. That's probably the best part about it. I mean, I'll literally tell you guys every time I do a video with the lift, you guys really need a lift. I mean, they're the best. You can't beat them. And an X3 like sets up really well on these lifts, so it's pretty widely spaced out. So, I mean, it's a stable unit. Some of the utility stuff and some razors are kind of weird, but yeah, you can really get in on the frame on the X3. Tons of clearance for the rear suspension components if you had to take those off. You guys saw the video of us doing the CA Technology suspension on my X3. Just very nice. So go get yourself a lift right after this video. So I think what we're going to do now is take a look at this front end. Some of the parts that need attention. We're not going to get to everything that we're doing on this machine in this video. That'll be next. But we're going to start taking the front end of this part and get some key components addressed. So take a look at this thing and show you what we got broke here. So we got this unit jacked up, and I typically always shake these things down when doing anything with the suspension on them. If you ride hard, stuff wears out fast. So this one, you can kind of see maybe, or you can hear. Loose wheel bearing. So we're going to be doing 2 front wheel bearings on this. I'm going to get the knuckles off, and I'm going to show you guys the best press I've ever used. Huge fan of this press, so really looking forward to showing you guys that. I've, man, yeah, just good tools. Good tools. Once you've used good tools, it's hard to go back to junk tools, so I've kind of been spoiled by that, especially around here. There's a lot of nice equipment here, which is very nice. So I'm just going to knock these tires off real quick and get the hubs off, take you over to the sweep press, show you that, get the wheel bearings in, and then we'll probably call it a night here. It's Friday. I'm ready to go home. Do a little, you know, R&R, rich ruling, resting and relaxing. It's been a long week. We've had a ton of machines in here, and you know, all doing very cool things. So appreciate everyone that's brought me their machine and continues to buy parts for me. That really helps out a lot. Helps me keep my stuff going, and the whole other operation that we do, you know, the fun stuff. So appreciate that. I'm gonna get this thing torn apart, and we'll start pressing out some bearings and pressing in some new ones. All right, tires are off. So these knuckles come off pretty easily. I think this is a 30 millimeter. I just want to make sure. Tell you guys the correct info. Man, looking through this foam while I'm trying to get this cotter pin out. Not the easiest. Let's see here. I become my own worst enemy using chrome sockets on an impact, but you know you'll have that. So we'll take that 30 off. We got two 15s that hold the caliper on, 18 here for the tie rod, and then these are these ball joints. I think this is that's a 15 down there, and that should be a 19 up there. So we'll do a little time lapse on both sides of this, and yeah, get those off and get to those bearings. Okay, we got both the knuckles off. And this is like classic shop stuff 101. So you dig into this stuff, you know. Knew the wheel bearing was bad, or wheel bearings, I should say. And order the wheel bearings, get the knuckles off, and, you know, find that we need some more stuff. So take a look at this. So this is the one that was bad, and like the outer seal portion of the bearing came off with the hub when I took it off. No big deal there, but you can kind of see there's a snap ring that, you know, holds the bearing in. And when I took this one apart, yeah, the snap ring's just mutilated. So yeah, I'll have to check with the local dealer to see if we can get a snap ring. Honestly, we're gonna have to press these bearings out and then clean these knuckles up super good and make sure that the ridge that the snap ring sits in isn't damaged or anything, or in a way that would allow that to come out, because that shouldn't happen. So this bearing was actually, you know, it was starting to get loose. That one was a lot worse, but this one was okay. And then this is the one that had the, you know, that snap ring. So kind of weird. But I'll get these pressed out, and then we'll go ahead and wash these in the solvent tank, clean them up, see how they look, and yeah, determine if we can actually put the new bearings in. So it's the next day. Called it quits last night. I was pretty tired. Was here for like 12 hours, so had to get some good night's sleep. But we're back, and we're ready to press these bearings out. So like I told you guys, this press I got here, one of the nicest pieces of equipment ever. It's let's take a look at it. Yeah, so we use this a lot for like wrist pins for pistons, pressing those out, but it works for pretty much anything. So instead of having a pump, we just got a little pedal down there. It works so good. So we're gonna set our knuckles up in the fixture there, press these old bearings out, and then once these are pressed out, we're gonna clean these up. And you can kind of see on this one, this is the one that had the messed up snap ring. There's some evidence of foul play, so we want to clean all this stuff up in the solvent tank and make sure there's no cracks or anything in this that would allow that snap ring to come out. We obviously need a new snap ring for this one, but we want to make sure this is good to go and in good shape before we spend any time pressing bearings in. So I'll get these set up and press those bearings out. Easy as that, no big deal. So that one's ready for wash. That was the bad bearing, but wasn't the one with the bad snap ring. Okay, set this one up here. So these press from the inside out. No big deal. All right, so the knuckle's cleaned up pretty good. On the side that had the messed up snap ring on it, there was like a little ridge where the snap ring sits, and I don't know, it looked like it was crushed down for some reason. So clean that up with a file, and maybe that was preventing the snap ring from expanding all the way and could have contributed to it pushing out. But what my plan is to do is once I get the new snap ring, I'll have the opening be in that spot. That way the rest of the circumference of the ring can fully seat in the ridge. And the ridge cleaned up pretty good, but we'll just put the opening in that particular spot, so minimize the chance of there being problems. But I'm gonna go grab the new bearings. We'll put those in. Didn't see any cracks or anything like that that would lead us to want to replace these. So just put new bearings in. I'll see if I can source a snap ring today, and we'll be in good shape. Okay, so on these Can-Am knuckles, it's kind of hard to get them to be on a flat surface because there's not a lot to make a fixture out of, like this weird spot over here where the tie rods are. But grab this and get to pressing on her. So pull these out of the freezer. That typically helps our bearings go in a little bit easier. So I'm running into an issue where it's not necessarily the same height. So I want it to go in straight as can be, obviously. And to do that, we need it to be at the same height. So we'll try that. I'll press on it like this for a while until we get to see if we can move over a little bit. Okay, we still have a little bit more to go. See how we're looking here. We're below the ridge where the snap ring sits, so we're in good shape. Easy as that. We'll do the next one. We'll go source some snap rings. Well, some unfortunate news. The local dealer nor any surrounding dealers have our circlips that we need to go into the outside of our knuckle here. So gonna have to order those. And I was also doing some looking at some of the other stuff that came out of here. These are the bolts that hold in the lower ball joint. You might be able to see they're a little stripped out and also a little bent. So that's not good. We don't want to put it back together with stuff like that. So I'll have to order those too. So this thing will be here for a couple days. But that's going to do it for this video. And we're going to get on to the next phase of this project in the next video. Working on some suspension components, strengthening up the front end of this, talking about why it's important. So appreciate your guys' support in this matter. And again, if you guys need anything side-by-side related parts, you need work done, whatever you want, you know, big turbos, engine builds, suspension upgrades, cages, maintenance, replacement parts, I can get you taken care of. So give me a shout, rrrutvshop.com. Contact information is there. Work on pretty much all of the major makes and models. And if I can help you out, I'd be happy to do that. So see you in a couple days. More on this thing coming. This thing's going to be in really good shape for the owner when we get done with it. And it'll be better than ever. So again, appreciate your support in this matter. Have a good night.